Hi friends, good evening. This is Merrill here, Vice President of Marian Alumni Association. On behalf of Marianites Business Forum, also known as MBF. I formally welcome each and every one of you to the inaugural event of MBF. We shall now invoke blessings from above with a minute of silence.
Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah. Shatru buddhi vinashaya dipajyotir namostute. Dipajyotir namostute. Dipajyotir parabrahma. Dipajyotir janardanah. Dipajyotir parabrahma. Dipajyotir janardanah. Dipo hartume.
I welcome Mr. Finney K. Matthew for the welcome address. Finney, over to you.
Thank you, Merrill. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us digitally tonight. We are thrilled to have you all here along with us in our biggest achievement since 2018, when we first came together to bring this into shape. The first guest who we have here is a man who needs no introduction, our faculty, our mentor, guide, and with his immense talent in inculcating the right values and culture, became the principal of Marian College Kuttikkanam. I welcome our beloved Reverend Dr. Roy Abraham to this occasion. Most of us here are looking forward to understand how the next 55 minutes is going to help you. Well, we have Mr. Thomas Tarnowski here, who will be delivering the keynote speech for the day. He has been working as an entrepreneurial consultant and delivery head for most of his life. Welcoming you to this session, Mr. Thomas. I wish to welcome all the faculties who has joined us today evening, who helped us to become what we are today. And if you are one among those who are attending the meeting right now, you're being part of a very highly competitive set of individuals who believe together we can conquer. Welcoming you all once again to witness the history in making. Over to you, Merrill.
Thank you, Finney. I would like to invite Ms. Asmin Baker to shed some light on MBA. Asmin, over to you.
A very good evening to one and all present here. Actually, I'm very excited at this moment. Marianites Business Forum, MBF, was initiated for business networking. I remember the stage when some of us dreamt about a structural platform for Marianites to meet, share and grow. And now we are here, attending the formal inauguration of the same. As we all know, we are scattered around the globe, some of us hit by the pandemic. However, thanks to the greater possibilities of online meetings, which are popular now. This is indeed a proud moment for me to be here as a member of the core team today. I would like to present to you Marianites Business Forum, MBF, an initiative of Marian Alumni Association. Our vision is a global networking forum for Marianites to facilitate networking, professional training, industry updates, collaborations, innovations, and new ventures. Our modus operandi shall be a subscribed membership forum with regular meetings on first and third Wednesdays of every month at 8 p.m. Indian time. MBF directory will be a web portal with individual business profiles. Meetings and webinars will enable one-to-one connect, collaborations, business generation, investment pooling, industry connect, and more. I believe that this forum will establish everlasting business and professional relationships. Thank you.
Thank you, Asmin, for showcasing MBF. We have a great team, highly motivated to take this forum to new heights. I would like to introduce them to you all. We have Ms. Reshma Jerome, elected as the chairperson. We have Mr. Georgie Joseph, elected as the vice chairperson. We have Sudesh S. Nair, elected as a secretary. Ms. Meera Matthew, joint secretary. Finny K. Matthew, treasurer. Asmin Baker, director of innovations and collaborations. Balu M. Krishna, director, internal relations. Febin Dominic, director, public relations, social media. Mr. Gino Matthew, director, web portal development. Mr. Joban Akrakalam, director of memberships. Mr. Manraj Kananchira, director of memberships. Mr. Sajid P. Shaukat, director of business reference. Mr. Sijo Joseph, director of memberships. I invite Mr. Binoy Matthew, President of Marian Alumni Association, to take lead of the oath-taking ceremony of the first core team of MBF.
Thank you, Marian. The oath. I start. I,
Reshma Jerome, elected chairperson.
Georgie Joseph, elected as vice chairperson.
Sudesh Nair, elected as secretary.
Meera Matthew, elected as joint secretary.
Finny K. Matthew, elected as treasurer.
Asmin Baker, elected as director.
Balu M. Krishna, elected as director.
Febin Dominic, elected as director.
Gino Matthew, elected director.
Jobin Akrakalam, elected director.
Manuraj Kananchara, elected director. Sajid P. Shaukat, elected as director.
Sijo Joseph, elected as director.
of Marianites Business Forum,
Of Marianites Business
Business
Forum.
Forum.
do hereby solemnly promise
Do
hereby
solemnly
Solemnly
promise
promise
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will
that I will
faithfully
faithfully
discharge
discharge
to the best of my ability
to the best of
best
my
of my
ability
ability.
the duties and responsibilities
the duties and
duties and
And the
responsibilities
of my position,
of my
my
position,
position.
that I will uphold
that I will uphold
the Constitution and bylaws of the association,
the Constitution
and
and
bylaws
of
bylaws
the
of the association,
that I will abide by
that I will abide by
By
the rules and decisions of the forum,
the rules and
and
decisions
decisions
of
of
the forum.
that I pledge my loyalty and commitment
that
I
I
pledge
pledge my
my
loyalty
loyalty and commitment
to the philosophy and objectives
To the
philosophy
Philosophy
and
and
objectives
virtues
of my alma mater.
of my
of the alma mater.
Thank you all and congratulations. Wish you all the very best for a successful and eventful tenure in the new MBF family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President. This moment is a dream come true for many of us. Congratulations to the new office bearers of MBF. I wish them all the best, and I assure my continued support in all your future endeavors. I invite the newly elected chairperson to take over the chair and continue with the meeting proceedings. Over to you, Reshma.
Thank you very much, Meryl, for chairing the meeting so far and also introducing our wonderful core team members. Hi, everyone. First and foremost, I thank God Almighty for giving me this opportunity, and then to my fellow core team members for the enormous support and the encouragement that they give to carry on this responsibility of a chairperson. After more than a decade, I'm so glad to be back with my Marian family. I'm sure all of us here have the same feeling because we journeyed the best days of our youth in the snow, mist, sun, rain, and wind at Kuttikkanam. We learned, we grew out of the world. And I feel that's where MBF is very relevant. Now we have the best opportunity with us to connect with Marianites and widen our horizons. As a chairperson of the newly elected team, I assure you that we will do our best to give back to our alma mater and the society at large. I cannot leave this venue without having a word about our Alumni Association committee members, especially Mr. Binoy, Mr. Merrill Matthew, and Advocate Nelson Joseph. During these initial days, their assistance and guidance were immeasurable. And our dear Father Roy Abraham, our current principal, has constant support. And I've always felt that people like Father Roy and all our teachers, they always challenge us and dream about us to excel in wherever we are. We, the core team of MBF, dream of a future where all the Marianites are part of MBF in one way or the other. And we expect all those involved can directly and indirectly reap the benefits of the activities of MBF. As John Lennon said, a dream you dream alone is it only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. So here, our dream of Marianites Business Forum has begun, and I humbly request all of your wholehearted support and encouragement for the activities of MBF. Thank you. And moving on with our meeting. As most of us have experienced during our Marian days, Father Roy has been a great motivator to us. He's always open-armed for any of our initiatives towards betterment. Now, I invite Reverend Dr. Roy Abraham, our current principal, to formally inaugurate and share a few words with us.
Thank you very much for your introduction and welcome. Today's result business promoter and OKR coach, our proud sons and daughters of Marian, and my dear colleagues. Indeed, I'm very, very glad to see this forum very professionally being inaugurated with meticulous plan and execution. Business today is definitely going to grow with networking. And I'm sure when you all connect from different countries with experiences with the different culture, probably giving services to meet the needs of people of different expectations. When you all connect together, it's going to be really wonderful. This is going to be one of the remarkable achievements for Marian as well as for the Marian Alumni Association. I wish all the best from my heart and my prayer that Marian Business Forum grow day by day through connections, interactions, and provide greater service to the society at large. We all come together in one forum where we all recognize each other as a Marianite. And we don't have any other brand to connect among ourselves. I'm very, very glad to see that you have beautifully organized this. Wishing you all the very best. And with all your permissions, may I declare with tons of prayers behind that Marian Business Forum is inaugurated. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Father, for your words of, for sharing your words of joy and words of encouragement to us. Moving on with our meeting, some few of our faculty members are here with us to share their joy with us. I welcome Dr. Ajimu George, Vice Principal of Marian College Kuttikkanam, to share a few words with us.
Good evening, everyone. I am really happy and glad to join with you in this evening. Very happy that the new initiative of Marian Alumni Association, Marianites Business Forum, is getting inaugurated today. I borrow the words of Father Dr. Roy Abraham. He aptly said, "You are the proud sons and daughters of Marian College." So we feel really proud that there is a wonderful team behind this new initiative. And we know that when a student joins an educational institution, there arises a long-lasting relationship, a lifelong relationship. And that lifelong relationship do not end with graduation. So happy that you are keeping that lifelong relationship with Marian College. And it is through this lifelong relationship that all educational institutions get the support from alumni, get add-on services from alumni in the form of mentoring, advising, career networking, and things like that. So I take this opportunity to congratulate all the office bearers and really feel proud to be your teacher, that you are willing to spend your time and effort for your alma mater. So I think words are bereft of power to express our gratitude to all of you. So thank you so much for your wonderful initiative. And I wish all the very best for this new venture. So let this venture flourish, and more innovative initiatives, let it happen from the Marian Alumni Association. And very proud to say that, Marian Alumni Association, the activities are going on very well. When we compare it with the alumni associations of other colleges in Kerala, Marian Alumni Association's activities are going on very well. So congratulations to a wonderful team who is behind it. We know that organizing this kind of a program and connecting people together, that requires a lot of time, effort, and energy. So thank you for that, and I wish you all the best. See you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ajimoon sir. Now I would like to invite Reverend Dr. Shaiju KS, Vice Principal, Marian College Kuttikkanam.
Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yes, Father.
Yeah, being an Indian, I was just astonished to see the countdown video when it was played, and Merrill, or the one who was hosting the meeting, has started the program exactly at 8 p.m. If you are going to start a business venture, time is the most essential thing. The very moment I have seen the program has started at 8 p.m. itself, Indian time, I was very sure and happy that, and I decided myself that this is going to be a wonderful event. So if you have started this program in such a serious way and a planned way, I am very sure and I wish that it will be, or it is going to be, a successful event. Father Roy has addressed you as sons and daughters. That means you are all siblings. So there are business which are initiated by friends, by one man or woman himself or herself, and by siblings. Even though there are incidents where the business of siblings and family members have collapsed or came to failure, mostly just because of the brotherly or sisterly feeling or blood relation feeling, everything, or there are doors and possibilities for being it again successful, or the issues can be settled. You people, being the brothers and sisters or the sons and daughters under Marian brand, will definitely be successful only because of the feelings of oneness under the Marian brand. So I'm very happy. This will be a platform for all the students, even those people who have completed their studies and it is a great hope for the students who are entering into Marian College or passing out from the Marian College to come up with the initiatives, innovative ideas, and entrepreneurial activities where their elder brothers and sisters is hosting a platform for them to excel and to experiment with the business ventures. Congratulating all the people behind the curtain to make this initiative and to have a formal inauguration beautifully planned and organized. I'm very happy and I wish all the success to this Marian Business Forum. All the very best and my prayers for the success of the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Shaiju. Now I would like to invite Dr. T.V. Murali Vallabhan, Director, Marian International Institute of Management.
A very good evening to all of you. Reverend Father Roy P. Abraham, Principal, all other faculty members of Marian Institution, and the newly wedded, I would like to call as newly wedded officials of Marianites Business Forum. I would like to address you as mirrors of Marian, who reflect your past and who reflect this institution throughout your activities. Of course, when Father Roy addressed you as sons and daughters, siblings naturally reflect their own home and their own parents. So you are the mirrors of Marian. And when you are undertaking a venture of your own in the area of business, I wish you all the best. Now, another thing that I noted when I wanted to address you and say good evening, good afternoon, or good night, or good morning, I was a little bit confused because now Marianites are there all over the world. The sun never sets for the Marianites. That is the reality. ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് സാമ്രാജ്യത്തെ കുറിച്ച് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത് സൂര്യൻ അസ്തമിക്കാത്ത ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് സാമ്രാജ്യം എന്നാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ഇപ്പൊ മരിയനൈറ്റ്സിന് സൂര്യൻ അസ്തമിക്കുന്നില്ല. ഒരു വെദർ യു ആർ ഇൻ ഓസ്ട്രേലിയ, വെദർ യു ആർ ഇൻ ഗൾഫ്, വെദർ യു ആർ ഇൻ അമേരിക്ക ഓർ any place, any corner of this world, the sun never sets for the Marianites. And also I would like to say that this is a very good venture when you are networking yourself to start a business, especially in the 21st century, where the whole world is becoming one. We use the word glocal, the global plus local aspects. So when you are starting a business at the international level, it has local reflections and local impacts and local responses. So that's why the United Nations has clubbed the word glocal, and let this be a glocal venture reflecting the local realities and at the same time functioning at the global level. And I take this opportunity to assure all the cooperation from the Business Management School, the Marian International Institute of Business Management, and also now we are one family. We have already merged and we come under the umbrella of the Marian institutions. So thank you very much and wish you all the best. I wish that you prosper day by day, months by months, and year by year. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of encouragement. You've really motivated us in our journey for the start. And now we're moving on to the most awaited part of the first meeting of MBF, the keynote address. He's a renowned motivational speaker and a business coach. He is a Canadian by nationality, who he has experience in a range of different businesses and industries for over 25 years. Mr. Thomas Tarnowski. Over to you, Mr. Thomas.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So first of all, hello to everyone. I'm very honored to have the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm connecting from Montreal. I apologize for the accessories. I am at a customer site. We're currently deploying a template to a consumer health pharmaceutical. And so we're right in the middle of the shutdown, so all the operations have stopped. And so I had to carve out a little moment to share some time with you. Probably as yourself, I've remained at home for the last year or so, obviously developing a strong appreciation for family and the essential elements of life. So what I thought today I would do is I'd present a bit of a story, a journey that has given me the opportunity to work in, across different countries, different industries. And in the process, I've learned a few things that I wanted to share. They've certainly proven to be very enriching for me, and I hope perhaps you can benefit in some of those. From an education perspective, I'm a geologist, so I studied rocks for a couple of years, but I don't know why. Maybe it was a dream to become Indiana Jones or something, but it didn't work out as expected, as a lot of things don't necessarily do in life. But usually there's a new opportunity that lies ahead, and such it did. So I ended up working in a small, medium-sized organization, a manufacturer of sorts, and in that I got an opportunity to learn about business processes, about how to manage, how to lead, all the stuff that becomes the fundamentals of running a business or participating in running a business. So that lasted for about 5 or 6 years. And in the early 90s, I don't know if you remember, SAP became a household name in North America. And so it was deploying. Everybody wanted to get on ERP. And that's where I got my opportunity to become a functional consultant. So I studied, got a diploma, studied information technology for about a year, 2 years. And based on that, started my journey with SAP. If I can just note it at one time, this was the most amazing change in my life, probably, other than probably meeting my wife or having my kids, but it was an absolutely amazing experience, and I've never looked back since. So the opportunities took me across countries. I worked in Canada, US, Europe, England, and in New Zealand. And obviously in terms of industries, aerospace, beverage cans, railways, public transportation. And as I progressed as a functional consultant, I moved into project management and then more into the delivery. And that's where I found my real niche, where I really was in my element. To me, taking a program, an objective of a program, and then adding to that recipe a lot of passion and skills with great people, putting a plan in place, considering the risks, and then delivering to it was very rewarding. As you can imagine, most of these experiences lasted from 6 months to a year and a half to 2 years, and so it was a very interesting, a bit like having a startup company. You have a project, the start and end date, where you want to achieve certain objectives, and so that started putting in my mind a lot of these sort of items that I'll share with you today. Another thing is worth pointing out, I was a contract worker, so it was very fulfilling. Through this, I developed a very big appetite for leading, for risk management, for converting problems into solutions, which a lot of these things come naturally for an entrepreneur. And so I focused on that, and I did not have to worry about office politics. So my only focus was there to deliver value, and as much value as I physically can, both to the program, to the organization, but also to the people I had the opportunity to work with. So I don't know why, but I felt very fulfilled at the time. And so it caught my attention that really what I was aspiring to is to be an entrepreneur, because it just was a very natural course of activity in my life, which brought me to this point. So I realized this, and then I thought to myself, okay, being an entrepreneur can mean, it could be knowing an industry and then being able to, to exploit that knowledge in that particular area, but it can also mean sharing ideas and solving problems with an entrepreneurial spirit. Personally, I think the entrepreneur is an individual that has just a very strong ability to turn ideas into action that can deliver. Visions are obviously very important. They inspire. They drive the juices of purpose and wanting to be part of something big. but to put it down on paper, to actually deliver, is a whole different set of skills. And so I had the opportunity to develop some of those skills, and that's one of the things I wanted to share with you today. If you take an entrepreneur with those skills and then you add a recipe of a good idea, an entrepreneur could very much set up his own business, and usually would even contribute some money to it to be able to set up a new startup, a new venture. So from my perspective, you might ask yourself, okay, as an entrepreneur, I've delivered all these years. Did I take any chances? And the answer to that is yes. And that's where it starts. So I can just recollect one back in 2008. I was working at the time in New Zealand, supporting an SAP implementation for an airline. And a friend of mine, Giovanni, and myself had identified a gap in the solution, a problem to solve. And so we went on our own to try and sort out an opportunity. We were still very young at the time, and obviously experience was still on its way in that particular area. And unfortunately, the design we wanted to do, which was basically to support mobile assets. At the time, SAP was very good for fixed assets, but for mobile assets, they hadn't yet had the necessary functionality. Unfortunately, an add-on was to follow the following year, and so our idea was a little too little and too late. And so that was the first learning for entrepreneurial. You have to think of an idea. It has to be feasible, has to be sustainable, obviously desirable, but more importantly, you have to do some testing. You need to have some evidence before you launch yourself in entrepreneurship to make sure that you avoid a surprise at the back end of an investment of a year or 2 years. But more importantly, you may miss an opportunity to adapt. So when you do evidence taking, testing, piloting, and so on, is a great opportunity to perhaps adapt your value proposition for something that could then be successful. So it is extremely valuable experience. Back in 2019, I had a chance to meet a fellow by the name of Luca, another artist who had spent about 20 years laying hardwood floors in Europe. And he had decided to set up a manufacturer of hardwood floors. And we had met in one of his businesses. He had quite a few businesses. So he was making mozzarella cheese, he had farming, he had construction, even had apartment buildings. But anyway, he came to see me and asked me, he says, look, you speak English. I'd like to sell my hardwood floors to England and North America. And so we, based just on a friendship, just on a shake of a hand, we agreed to go forward. Unfortunately, if you recall, back in the beginning of 2020, the pandemic hit. So travel became very difficult, and more importantly, the supply chain struggled quite a bit. So I've got him on my agenda for beginning of 2022 with all the experience, and we're hoping to make a go of that in the new year. Finally, I thought it's important to point out, Georgie has kindly invited me today, and I'm extremely proud to know Georgie. But in this business, you meet a lot of amazing people. That's the other bonus of working in this type of contract entrepreneurial environment. And so I've met 3 amazing guys who are extremely inspiring, Rajesh, Ritesh, and Georgie, and they are building their own dream company. And I tell you, it's a diamond in the rough. Pay attention to the name Vibrant Partners. It's an HR company, but it's now starting to expand and operate in multiple countries, and they're literally putting people first. So I, from time to time, support them and give my 2 cents as a sort of an outside in to help them out. But they're well on their way after a lot of years of marathon working and determination and resilience. They're really a good representation of what an entrepreneurial spirit needs to be. So my model is very simple. What I try to do is I meet and discover people with passions and idea and join forces to help and deliver a potential viable business, a business solution. And very important to me is to be able to contribute to all the stakeholders. So part of my journey into this entrepreneurial spirit is there's got to be some kind of a greater good, something more than the let's say the collateral revenue that comes in. Obviously the business has to be viable, but really what drives my juices is really the engagement with the people, the opportunity to grow and contribute to one another. That's really what drives me, and I can assure you that if that is not part of the business model or the effort in a particular business, then I usually would disengage, because that's part of the stuff that really drives me, and that's exactly what Vibrant Partners reflect. So I'm investigating other ideas. I got some ideas of application, all that. So I won't go into too much of detail there, but I wanted to tell you that you can still try ideas on the side, still deliver. Both of them work hand in hand to allow to reinforce each other. And I'm certainly not giving up, and I keep going and going and going on my journey. I still got plenty of time ahead of me, a lot of good years ahead still on the engine. So if we talk about startups, obviously that's one of the topics that I'm referring to. You're obviously aware around the statistics around startups. It's very challenging. Statistics comes across, certainly in North America, that over 90% fail after 10 years. When I say fail, they basically run out of juice, or there are challenges that perhaps can't be controlled or have not been anticipated. And even the number is more staggering after 2 years. It's about 50% the first 2 years. So the challenge is clear, and you have to have a tremendous resilience. You have to persevere and just keep going forward and forward. And so it's something that you develop over time, but there's got to be something inside you that says you're exactly where you need to be, and you got to keep pushing. So part of that journey, if you look at some of the startups, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, and the Square, you'll note that a lot of them are focusing now on disrupting business models that currently exist. So processes that used to be one way become digital, and so on and so forth. So that's another layer that's been added to the business horizon, where innovation is becoming a lot more critical than it would have been in the past. So whether you're a big organization, which could get disrupted because of some technology that comes and replaces how you do things, or if you're in a startup, obviously startup is even more pressure, because you're building and you have to compete with the big titans, and they certainly have the resources to be able to compete with you. So innovation becomes certainly one of your critical efforts and critical success factors to be able to not only succeed, but also to make sure that you stay on top and ahead as the changes continue to percolate. I would say monthly, because the cycle of change is even more accelerated than it used to be, and it's just the beginning. Everyone suspects that that's going to keep on accelerating. So the speed of change, obviously, is something to be concerned about if you're running a business and you're not thinking about what's next. There's some area, whether it's AI, whether it's genome sequencing, blockchains, robotics, energy storage, all these are just the tip of the iceberg. And what's going to be happening over the next 5 to 10 years is going to pale comparison to what's happened. It's going to be a lot more critical, or a lot more serious than what you have perhaps experienced the last 30, 40 years. And so it's even more important to have the innovation spirit, definitely part of the culture, if not a department, literally in your organization. So how important is innovation in a startup? I think the main reason is that, as I mentioned earlier, it gives you a bit of an edge to be able to stay ahead. So it's something you need to introduce and to maintain in your culture, for people not to be complacent, to think about doing things differently, not just managing the business and the performance of the sales and the production and all that. There's got to be a whole additional layer that grows horizontally across all the business processes, to see if you can look at opportunities, whether it's new market shares, whether it's new products, new services, or just doing things completely differently. Those innovation, should we say, this innovation work that needs to be done in an organization is extremely critical. There's examples in history. You're obviously familiar with Kodak Photo, which was obviously a leader in cameras and so on. There's Sony Walkman, which is another huge technology behemoth that had pretty much all control of the music, for mobile music running around. Well, they've all but disappeared from that perspective, and other technologies have replaced them. So it's important to consider that in the current state we're in, the world is coming to the point where you're going to get more and more entrepreneurs that are going to get involved in the soup, which puts even more pressure for you to stand out, to be able to deliver something, and to be able to stay ahead in terms of the business that you're proposing or the value that you're proposing. So more and more entrepreneurs, another thing to be concerned about. So other than thinking what's next, innovation, it's not just about startups, but as I mentioned to you earlier, it's also about the big organization that also have to keep an eye out. And more of them are becoming very, shall we say, playing more defense in that area, and they're building departments, visions, and areas where they can progress to be able to put themselves in a sort of a de-risk some of the challenges that are coming in the future with technology. One of the things also is to mention is that the new, with the innovation also, it's not just the customers, you also have the employees. So it's a new age workforce that they want more meaningful work. I know it because I discuss it with my kids, and they've got a whole different view on what work is. It's not about job security. It's not about having a salary. It's not about a career. It's not about a retirement. It's really something that's going to be fulfilling, something that's going to contribute to their personal life and their life balance. So that's a whole layer of innovation that has to be taken into consideration, especially in view of the challenges we're going to have in the future with manpower and the aging population. So that's going to be an additional layer that the organization not only worry about innovating for the customer, but you also innovate to make sure you keep the employees engaged, and it's not going to be about money. It's going to be a lot more than that. So I think as surprising as it may sound, a lot of these are going to start playing more and more and more importance in each of the organization, whether it's a startup, whether it's a large organization. So innovation is going to play a key role for any company that wants to stay ahead or that simply wants to stay in the game. So how can you deliver innovation? That's the trick. So if you look at startup and innovation, a lot of the challenges have to do with the fact that you want to be able to communicate this innovation. So first you have the whole strategic visioning of where you want to go, but that's not enough. You have to somehow translate that into an executable parameters and executable plan that you can actually deliver. The statistics are quite ferocious when it comes to a strategic vision and actually incorporating a plan. You can have output. In other words, you can complete a plan, but at the back end, you realize the outcome was not what you expected. So you did everything you needed to do on the plan, but what you were expected to achieve is unfortunately didn't get to where you wanted to go, whether it's cost, whether it's additional revenues, whether it's a new way of working, new customers. All of these things have to be taken into consideration. So how do you manage to leverage innovation, but also actually make it work for you in the organization? So the bigger the organization, we all know, the tougher it is to actually have people evolve and to buy in and to contribute and to play a role. And it's difficult. It's very difficult, obviously, for any strategic initiative, but even more so when it comes to innovation, because innovation requires a bit of an entrepreneurial mindset. There's risk involved, there's challenges involved, there's competition involved, there's extra work involved, because very often people are working cross departments to try and support a particular initiative. And so all of these add to the soup of challenges of actually executing a plan to achieve some kind of an innovation or some kind of an objective. So what they've talked about is that very often when it comes to strategic visioning, people most of the time really need to get inspired, and you can't get that with a plan. And that's why it's important that when you have an idea, once you have a vision of where you want to go, engagement becomes the key component to get people inspired, to get people involved, to get people to want to be part of something. There's got to be a purpose. There's got to be a why. Unless you engage them at that level, most of the time people are going to leave that spirit in the parking lot in their car. And what they're going to come in is they're going to do the what. They're just going to follow the plan. They're going to follow the expected output. but very often you miss the opportunity of the outcome, or you miss the opportunity to get better engagement or to actually achieve something more, because people have their own level of innovation that they can contribute into a test, a pilot, or in fact any kind of initiative that's been set for a company. So it's very important that you want to isolate or try and identify some of those entrepreneurs in your organization, because that's the mental state. That's what you need to be able to engage people into innovations, just like when you need people to contribute to a startup. So to put a simple example, I was going to say that it's like if I told you we're going to travel somewhere, I give you the map, but I'm not going to tell you where we're going there. That's what a strategic vision that is based on a plan. So you know where you're going, but you have no clue why you're going there. And that's a huge gap that you develop in an organization, because it reflects on everything else you do. And so you find yourself in a situation where you have to put a lot more energy, and you have to put not necessarily be able to achieve the objectives of that particular plan. Even though you may have generated work, hours, people have worked very hard, but somehow nothing glued together, nothing worked together to fit, and somehow your outcome is a disappointment, or it doesn't achieve the objectives that you were expecting. So this is where we come to the how you do these things. So if I go a little bit further to the next slide, is the OKR. And so what I've learned over the last 3-4 years is objectives and key results. This was invented back in the 80s. It was Mr. Groves, a manager, a very well-known manager at Intel, which he developed this, and it's been reused by a bunch of organizations. And it's progressing, and it really what it does, it gives you an opportunity to leverage that objective, that spirit, that vision, and to be able to translate that into key results. And these key results is the means where you get the engagement. So in other words, you drive the purpose of the change, you get everybody engaged, and then you have the key results that are very simple, measurable, tangible ways that you can measure the progress against those objectives. So they're very simple to manage. Everybody can be involved. They're absolutely transparent to everybody. And you probably know that whenever you want to engage people, when you want to motivate behavior, there's three main drivers. One of them is whenever people are doing something correct, they like to know, they'd like to have the immediate response. And so when you update a key result, you get a percentage. You say, I'm 70% done, 50% done. The other thing it does, it shows you how far you are on the journey. That's another thing that's important for us to motivate our behaviors. And the last one is just as important, is the ability to compare yourself to how everybody else is doing. And those are the three things that the key results drive. And so this combination is very unique and it can be used really at any level of the organization, by groups of people, by individuals. You can actually incorporate it in your own personal life. I've put up at the top What Matters, which is John Doerr, who worked with Mr. Groves, and he actually wrote this book, What Matters. How appropriate the title. What really matters in terms of achieving your objectives. And again, because of the time we have today, I wasn't expecting to go all the details, but I just wanted to generate just enough interest on yours that you can go in there. It's got videos. You can pilot it in your organization. You can pilot it yourself in your life. It's a very powerful tool. And I don't know, I've worked with a couple of customers trying to progress that. It certainly takes a commitment, but once you get it, it's a very valuable tool. And so I encourage you to think about that. If I look just briefly, I'm not sure the time, how we're doing with time, because I don't want to go over. Are we still okay with a few minutes, or am I done? Joji, I'll be typing the Q&A here. Okay, very good. So have I got another 2 minutes or 1 minute, or do I have to move on to Q&A? I can't tell, unfortunately. 3 more minutes. Okay, very good. Super. Thank you. so I'm just trying to collect my thoughts here. No, that's very good. So we talked about the OKRs with the objective, and I guess the last thing I want to leave you with is so Mintzberg, who's at McGill University at next to my home here, he did say the most successful strategies are visions, not plans, and that's exactly what OKRs are. Is that their successful their successful strategies are really are based on getting people hooked on the objective. So how what's the purpose of what we're trying to do? And once you engage people at that level, then the key results become part of the foundation of how you're going to execute it. You don't need to motivate. The why is motivated through that vision. I guess the bottom ad was really to speak for itself. OKRs have been used by Google for years, and basically Larry Page submits that that's been the case why they've grown so quickly, and they use it to this day. They do quarterly with every single employee, every single teams inside the organization, and it's like just a religious sort of approach to keep people engaged, to innovate, to change, to try and keep what's next, what's the next thing we need to do to get better. I think this is the tool, in my opinion, that will help you deliver the impossible and make it possible. I thought I'd finish with a small comment for Joji. I just wanted to share that in my life, there's always an open door that comes up. I'm finishing now the journey with GSK, and I've always got this next door that opens up in my journey, and I just keep moving forward and forward. And like speaking today to all of you, it's been amazing. So I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your valuable time with me and being part, honestly, from a dream come true for me to be able to speak with all of you today. So just thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Thomas?
Yes, please go on.
So Thomas, thank you very much for the session. What is that quarter you mean in that OKR slide? I could see that you mentioned objective, key results, target, focus, and the last one something like quarter. What exactly quarter is?
Is it possible for you to type the question in the chat box?
I will do that.
Thank you.
I can hear you now.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now, Thomas?
I can hear you. Fantastic. It's this one here was cutting off.
Great.
Good call, Joji. I just disconnected. So I'm sorry, the sound, I'm on the computer directly, so the sound may not be.
It's clear, sir. It's clear.
What I
So
was
we are on the
asking
Q&A session. Please go on.
What I was asking is, what is that quarter term denotes in the OKR slide? You mentioned objective, key results, target, focus. I believe it's something like a personal scorecard kind of stuff. But the end word is something like a quarter.
Yeah, they're
What
normally
exactly
quarterly.
that
So
denotes?
3 months is the cycle. Probably with a startup, you might want to do tighter because it's a much more dynamic environment. But usually 90 days is a good window to share with the target.
So it's something to evaluate all these other parameters in that time frame. That is what that quarter.
Correct. So you typically, that's the time frame. You need to have a time frame for the key results. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, so go ahead, sorry.
No. I just typed in my question in the chat, Mr. Thomas. So glad to hear that you also was with SAP. So I'm also working with SAP. So yeah. My question is basically, for the entrepreneurs who are targeting to pursue disruptive ideas, right? So what's your suggestion or your view on that? So do we really essentially have to conceive this idea as a disruptive one and pursue, or we have to take some precautions so that we don't really go into a wrong path? I hope you understand my.
Well, from a business owner perspective, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Or So I would strongly suggest there's a couple of good books on innovation out there, but obviously depending what your business is, you may have different sort of angles you want to consider. But suffice it to say that the environment is changing very fast, like very fast. Some of the big behemoths, maybe the railway and all that, can be sort of saved in the short term, but even the long term they're at risk with the self-driving and everything. So I don't think there's an industry that's going to be spared. And so I think you probably need to start running. Unfortunately, digital is becoming a reality everywhere. AI is going to make its way very quickly. So depending what kind of business you're doing or what kind of process you have, that's also an area I'm going to look at. So I think it's the business model. In other words, review the value proposition you have and see what are the risks from a technology perspective, and then review internally, are there any processes right now that potentially could be disrupted, which obviously could make your business model no longer viable.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I think this reflection is an area where I think the business forum like ours would be of help, right? Maybe I can come up with some ideas, but then getting reflections on it from different perspectives is a challenge, right? So I hope probably that would be a right direction, right, Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, I would suggest. I mean, there's going to be a lot of dialogue on this over the next couple of years, but just be assured that there's going to be a lot of change in the horizon on economy and on the type of businesses and the way we do business. So it's very exciting, but obviously as a business owner, it could be very stressful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a next question. Tom.
Hello. Sure. Which one do you want me to go to? So, how can we effectively manage the stress due to pandemic, stress, and entrepreneurship? Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm either fortunate enough, but I worked very hard all my life to try and ignore everything on the outside and control what I can on the inside. So it's a lot about how you react, but that could take a lot of years. So that may not be helpful in the short term. But I think you need to surround yourself with people who can support you, when there's a stress. Certainly taking some space where you need it, emptying your mind, meditating. But it's very difficult. Like I honestly, when I was working in the basement for the last almost 2 years, I said to myself, okay, how much longer can I hold? 3 years, 4 years? What's going to be my limit? And so now I'm at the site, and so I've just come out maybe 2 weeks ago. It's the first time in about a year and a half, and it's great to be out. It's like coming out of a closet. So it is a stress, even if you're very resilient. It's completely natural, and I think it's important to talk about it, to get help if you need it, and obviously, entrepreneurship as it is a layer of stress in itself. So you've got to realize what you're getting into. It takes solid shoulders to, especially if you have a home, kids, wife, and all this. It becomes a big package, especially if you're running some financial, shall we say, risk at the same time. So it's nothing new, obviously, what I'm sharing with you guys, but it's very challenging. I agree. Could you please share your views on beginners targeting technology? Okay, that was that one. How do you find the transition from an IT professional to entrepreneur? So I focus a lot. I'm not necessarily the most technologically savvy, but what I've really focused on all these years is people. That's really all I'm fascinated and interested and passionate about is people. The people I work with, the people, any person that I share my life with, doesn't matter the length of time. And so I'm finding it very natural. I've kind of developed on the inside to be an entrepreneur, just how I interact with people, how I problem solve during projects, how I try to engage people. And I think once you've got that, then there's stuff that happens around you also. You know, I'm into this, attraction and all that, and I'm just focused on getting there. And this coming to this meeting is probably one of the most powerful things that's happened to me in the last, couple of years. Meeting Rajesh and helping them go through their journey. And I think it's just building blocks. I'd like to say that I've got the next 20, 25, 30 years, and I'm hoping to be able to do a lot more in terms of contributing to people's lives. And that to me is one of the measures of how I value my life, is how much I can contribute to people.
Thank you, Thomas. In fact, I'm a friend of Joji. Actually, I'm also from UK. And when Joji invited me for this meeting, actually, that's the first question I asked. I'm a developer, and what should I do with the business guys, actually? So, and now good to know that you're from the same background. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a natural evolution. There's more and more entrepreneurs. Like I said, my kids, I'm looking at my kids, and none of them sound like employees. They sound like either entrepreneurs or contract working. It's a very different thing. So I think just there's plenty of opportunities. It's exciting. It's really exciting. I mean, I'm 57. I feel like I'm 30.
Good to know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another question that's coming. How can we minimize risk in business, especially like these pandemic, climatic changes, etc.?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think you cannot be risk proof. That's the first thing. So I think from a financial perspective, you should have some, kind of like in a portfolio, you de-risk by diversification. And I think you have the same approach on business. So whether you have different businesses, or whether you have different products and services, or you have different countries, or you try and manage your risk accordingly based on where you can in terms of diversify. If you've got one shop, one place, one location, one set of customers, and obviously you carry that risk, and that's inherent to running the business. I'm sure there's a lot of restaurants and a lot of businesses that went under in the last year and a half. Never thought in a million years they would have gone under.
I think since we don't. Okay, I think
diversification. Correct.
Okay, so I think that's we can conclude the Q&A session, right? Mr. Thomas, would you like to say anything else?
No, I just want to say thank you. I hope it was helpful. I apologize for the lack of interaction with the technology. So there's still things to improve.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your business journey with us. Actually, I would say that we are all challenged by your business journey. To innovate, to adapt. I think every day we have scope for improvement. Every day we have more horizons to reach. So that's what I personally get from what you've spoken. And maybe MBF moving forward, I think this half an hour was not enough interacting with you. We hopefully will have more opportunities to see you and to get your guidance in the future. Now going forward with our meeting of MBF to give the formal secretarial address.
Thank you, Reshma. From today, September 1, 2021, we are on a productive journey for each and every Marianite who are interested in business network. As we mentioned earlier, this platform is operating on a subscribed form. I would like to announce our next meeting date, which is Wednesday, September 15th. See you all there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudesh. Now I would like to invite Meera Matthew for giving the vote of thanks to all our guests.
Good evening, everyone. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Yes, we have started our journey here. And it's my pleasure to thank one and all who have joined for this inaugural ceremony of Marianites Business Forum. First and foremost, I thank Reshma Jerome, who said yes to be the first chairperson of MBF. Next, I would like to thank Reverend Dr. Roy Abraham, our principal, for his constant support and guidance. Thank you, Father, for inaugurating the MBF platform. and for your words of encouragement and wishes. Next is our keynote speaker, Mr. Thomas Tarnowski. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for the thought-inful session. And I'm sure all of us have gained from this and how a vision of for our business can take us a long way. Thank you, sir. And next, I thank Mr. Binoy Matthew, President of Marian Alumni Association, who provides the perfect support system for the smooth functioning of MBF. Next, I thank Mr. Merrill Matthew, Vice President in charge of MBF from Marian Alumni Association, for dreaming about this MBF and making this happen with your continuous effort. Next, I would like to thank Dr. Ajimon George, Reverend Dr. Shaiju K.S. and Dr. T.V. Murli Vallabhan, who spoke on behalf of our dear faculty members. And I also thank our teachers, all our teachers, who joined us for this ceremony. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Your presence today makes us feel so blessed. Thank you, teachers. Finally, I thank all of you who have participated in this inaugural function of Marianites Business Forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meera. So here comes the end of the formal meeting. So the inaugural meeting of the Marianites Business Forum is adjourned. See you all on the 15th of September for the next meeting. Thank you.